Hi, friends. Today for math, we're going to be learning about our clocks. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, a little bit in a video I did. So I want you to get your yellow clock. If you haven't made it yet, you should have already done this. So please make your clock. Find your red and blue arrows and your clock. And there was a little Brad. Try to find those for me and make this. And then you're going to need a marker because we're going to be writing on our clocks, okay, and something to erase with. First, I want to remind you a little bit about how our clock works. So I have this cool clock with me today, and you can see we have a red short arrow and a long blue arrow. We have some red numbers that go from 1 to 12, and we have some blue numbers that go from 60, they go from 1 all the way around to 60. Now, these arrows are actually called hands. Can you say hands? Did you know that our clocks have hands? At least this kind of clock. This is an analog clock. Can you say analog clock? Very good. These are the kind of clocks we have in school, and they have hands on them. Maybe you have an analog clock like this at home that you can look at when you're practicing learning how to tell time. So the red hands are short hands, and short hands tell us the hour, okay? Hour are these red numbers. They count and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are two times this clock goes around in a day. So it goes around one time and then another time, okay? So there are 12 hours two times, which makes 24 hours in a day. So, like, we come to school just before 8 o'clock in the morning, but we go home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Or since we're learning from home, you start school, maybe you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. And maybe you go to bed at, well, maybe you go to bed at 7 o'clock at night and you were up for 12 hours, a whole clock cycle. Maybe you don't go to bed till 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. I hope you go to bed before nine because that's really late for a kindergartner to be awake. You need your sleep. That's really important. So the shorthand tells the hour. That's what we're going to focus on today. The longhand, the blue one, this counts the minutes, okay? And it goes around by five. So up here you see we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Because there are 60 minutes in an hour, and then it starts all over again. We're going to practice that later. We've been learning how to count by fives. I want you to keep practicing counting by fives so we can learn how to read our clock with our minutes. For now, we're just going to do all of our minutes on the 60, which is also known as 00 or O clock. I showed you that in a video a couple weeks ago. So we're going to practice this. I have a little song for you first. And real quick, I want you to echo me. I want you to say, the short hand tells the hour. The short hand tells the hour. The long hand tells the minutes. The long hand tells the minutes. Very good. So I'm going to show you this. We're going to do a song. Let's do our song first. The hands on the clock go round and round, round and round, round and round. The hands on the clock go round and round to tell us the time. The shorthand on the clock goes from number to number, number to number, number to number. The shorthand on the clock goes from number to number to tell us the hour. The long hand on the clock goes around by fives, around by fives, around by fives. The long hand on the clock goes around by fives to tell us the minutes. Very good. So we have the long blue hand goes around by fives, and the short red hand goes around by ones, number to number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, I'm going to get my camera going. Get your clock and your marker ready. We're going to practice, okay? All right, hopefully you have your clock ready. I have mine. So down here, I'm going to write a time. Okay, I'm going to write 2, 0, 0. This is a digital clock. Some of you might have a digital clock at home that looks like this, where it has a number, 2 dots, and then the other numbers. So we're going to do an analog clock, and then we're going to write it digital, and we're going to practice matching these times, okay? So this 0, 0 is up here on the 12. 12 is 0, 0. So I'm going to put my 0, 0 up there just so I know that's the 12, and you can do that. So we're going to leave our blue arrow on this 12 the whole time today, okay? Because we're going to make all of our times 0, 0. Now, this tells me it's 2 o'clock, which means that's the hour, okay? It goes hour, then minutes, hour, minutes. So I have the hour at 2 o'clock. So I need to move my red arrow around so it's pointing at the 2. Okay, so now I have 2 o'clock. That's what 2 o'clock looks like. Go ahead and make that on your clock to match mine. See if you can do that for me. Well, I get my eraser out because now we're going to do another time. I know it's a little hard to erase. So now I'm going to give us another time. This time I'm going to say 4 o'clock. Okay. So now we need to make 4 o'clock. What number do you think my red arrow is going to go to for 4 o'clock? Well, look, it tells us to the 4. So you're going to move your red arrow to the 4. And that is 4 o'clock. 4, 0, 0. Our blue is not moving. This is time on the hour. It's 4 o'clock. So now this time I'm going to erase my 4. And I'm going to move this first, and then we're going to guess what time it is to write it. So I'm going to move this. Here, let's do a tricky one. Now both my arrows are just lined up, okay? I have my blue one on 0, 0 or the 12, and I have my red one pointing to what number? Yes, the 6. So we're going to write 6 o'clock. Okay, now I'm going to erase that, just the 6, leave the 0, 0. Okay, and I'm going to move this again and see if you can tell me. Now, what time do you think it is? Here, I know there's a little glare on it. What time do you think that says? Look at where the red is pointing to. Yes, 9 o'clock. Very good. You see the number 9? So we're going to write a 9 here for 9 o'clock. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to give you a time, and I want you to write it and make it on your clock. And we're going to see if you get it right. Okay. I want you to show me 11 o'clock. So your red hand is going to find the 11. Go ahead and try, and then I'll do it to see if you get it right. 11 o'clock. All right, let's see. I'm going to move my red to the 11. Yours should look like mine. Does yours look like mine? If so, you did amazing. If not, go ahead and make your clock look like mine and say 11 o'clock. All right, now we're going to do another one. This time I'm going to show you with the red one first, and then you're going to write it, okay? So you might want to erase your 11 to have it ready. And I know it's kind of hard to erase on these. I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm going to do this time. What time do you think that is? Now let's look. We know we have our 0, 0. What time is the red hand pointing to? What is the hour? We're just looking at the number. What number is that? Yes, 1 o'clock. And we're always going to say o'clock with the 00, okay? 1 o'clock. All right, let's do one more. Guess what time that is? And then see if you can write it by yourself. And I'm going to give you a few seconds and then we'll check and see if we're right, okay? You're looking for what time that is. Go ahead and write it in your box and say it out loud. Yes, I heard a couple of you say it. It is 5 o'clock because it's pointing to the 5. Very good, friends. All right. This is something I want you to continue practicing at home. I put a couple videos on the website that have some fun songs to help you learn more about time on the hour. We're going to start next month looking at time on the half hour and counting by fives. So go ahead and make sure you practice this and you really get a handle on time on the hour and doing those 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Maybe have a family member tell you a time and you have to make it, or maybe have them write a time and then you have to do it, okay? There's all different ways that you can practice, and I want you to practice on your clock for at least 5 minutes, okay? And if you just want to practice making times, maybe you want to move your arrow and you want to look at it and say, oh, that's 7 o'clock, so I need to write a 7 down here, okay? Spend 5 minutes practicing your clock for me and watch those videos, okay? All right, have fun. I can't wait to hear all about it, and I will see you soon. Thank you, everyone.